Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of AP Microeconomics on AP for Teens. Today we're going to be talking about the biggest topic in microeconomics, supply and demand. And as you can see, we're going to focus primarily on the demand aspect of things. So let's get started. Now last time, on the last video of microeconomics, we discussed the three different economic systems and the pros and cons of both systems. As always, click the link right there if you haven't seen that video yet. It's a very interesting video on the different types of economic governments and systems that we have. In this episode today, we're going to focus primarily on looking at how demand works from the consumer's point of view. So let's get started. As always, the age-old question, what is demand? Well, demand is how much consumers want of a certain product at a certain price. The demand curve on a graph displays the relationship between the quantity demanded and the price of a good. So here is an example of a demand curve. This is just, for example, the quantity of limes and the price. As you can see, on the x-axis, we have the quantity of limes that a certain person would want, and on the y-axis, we have the price in cents or in dollars of the lime. Now, usually you won't see it like the previous line. You'll see it more like this, a straight line on an actual graph. But a specific person's isn't technically always going to be a perfectly straight line, which is why there's a little bit of a curve and a little bit of disfiguration in there. You can see in this graph in the table here the demand schedule, and for each different price the quantity demanded for this particular person. As you can see by the table, the price of a lime, if it's 60 cents, a person's only going to want one of them because they don't want to spend so much money on limes if they don't really need them. But as the price gets lower and lower, the benefits of those extra limes will be worth it to the person, so they'll spend that extra money to be able to purchase additional limes. Now, there are a bunch of different laws when it comes to demand. The law of diminishing marginal utility focuses on the decreasing satisfaction from additional units of a good. Now, the law of demand, which is one of the biggest laws that you need to know in microeconomics, is as the price of a good rises, the quantity of that good demanded by consumer falls, and vice versa, which is why you saw the line going downward sloping. As you can see from the repicture of the previous line, you can see that when the price continues to fall, more and more limes are being purchased by this person. They're going to demand more limes at that price. That's again due to the law of diminishing marginal utility. As you buy an additional lime, it's going to be used for less and less important things. Originally, you're going to use it for cooking, but maybe if you buy extra limes, it'll be used for something ridiculous like batting practice or something. So the decreased satisfaction from additional units causes people to not want as many limes, which is why the demand line decreases. Now, market demand is another huge thing that you need to know. It's found by adding the demands of all the people in the market. So for example, let's take a random scenario. We have 4 different people: Allie, Mackenzie, Sherry, and Florin. Now, the price of a pen, which we're going to be using in this example, could vary. Let's assume it's these prices. The quantity demanded by each person is going to vary as well. So as you can see, certain people want a certain number of pens. And you'll notice that as the price decreases, as mentioned before, the number of pens that are demanded by a person increases as well. While, for example, Allie only bought 3 pens at $1.50, by the time the price goes down to 25 cents, she's now going to buy 16 of them. You'll notice that these aren't exactly the same numbers. For example, 3 times 150 is only going to get you $4.50, while 16 times 25 cents is going to get you $4. This is just a general what they would probably be thinking. The total market demand will be taken by just adding up the different quantity demanded. So if you add each of the quantity demanded and the $1.50 price, you'll see it equals 10 pens, 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1. And as you go down the list, the number of quantity demanded for the pens increases as well until you get to the grand total of 25 cents of 52 pens. Now you'll notice that as the price goes down, you're going to see more and more people purchasing pens. You're going to see more people demanding pens, which is what the previous 2 laws mentioned. Now answer below, look at your different life experiences. Have you ever wanted something more because it was more expensive? If so, why do you think that is? What type of product do you think that would be? Leave an answer below. I'll give the answer in the description. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Subscribe, leave a comment, and like in the sections below. We will see you next time in another episode of AP for Teens.